seamless wrap for a 20-ounce skinny today. I am going to be using a sunflower pattern. This is my second time working on creating a seamless pattern because the first one was a disaster. Well, the first one, it wasn't a disaster, but I didn't love my offsets. So I've decided to do it again, and being as I finally made one and I was okay with it, we're going to go ahead and do this one because I think it'll be a little bit faster, probably a little bit clearer. All right, so what we need to do right now is get our design going. So I am using this sunflower design. We're going to duplicate this a couple times, and we're just going to place these wherever you want them. You know, you're going to want to switch it up a little bit so they're not all in the same exact position and all that fun stuff. So take a minute or two to do that. And you want to keep them, you want to have some space between them. I mean, this is all creative freedom. However you want to do it, you can do it. Anyways, so let's just kind of throw a few of these around here, and then we'll move on to our next step. Let's go ahead and do one more down here maybe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call that good. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to weld these together. And now I am going to slice it in half. And why we are doing this is so that we can create our seamless pattern. I'm going to move that box to the back so that we can see where our cup is going to come together. So I think we're going to do something like this. And so now what we're going to do is select all of that, and we're going to slice it. Okay, now that we have that finished, what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and remove my box here. And I am going to remove my slice there. It doesn't matter. We can change the color so it matches. Okay. All right, now that we're back in order here, we are going to make a shape for our pattern. We're using, well, I'm using a 20-ounce skinny that is going to be roughly 8 inches. Well, we're gonna do like 8 1/4 by, let's unlock that, 8 1/4 by a width of 9 1/4. Okay, so this is our cup. Okay, so we're gonna send this bad guy to the back so we can see. So it's going to cut off our flowers at the top, and it's going to come some of our flowers off the bottom. That's okay, no worries. We will deal with that later, okay? So now what we need to do, since we have our size of our box, is we are going to take this side of our slice, and we're going to put it over here. You know what, I need to pay attention to where my whatchamacallit start. So I'm going to put these down at, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to slice this. No, shoot, I don't know. Okay, we're just going to go with it and hopefully. Okay, so this side is going to be, let me move this whole, oh, let me try that again. Okay, that is so not, that is not right. Okay, are we pretty lined up now? Okay, we're pretty lined up now. So what I want to do is bring my box so that it's right at 2 inches there and right at whatever that is, 11 on the bottom. Okay, so this one, I just want to make sure I note where my box is. So this leaf down here at the bottom is on the 11 line. So when we bring this over here to catch up on our side, we want to make sure that that leaf is on the 11 line so that our seams will end up meeting up. And I didn't look. Shoot. Let me backtrack that one. Okay, so this one is, our box is just above that one, and it's 1, 2, almost 3 squares from the top. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this one over here, and we have, what did I say, almost 3 squares? So 1, 2, almost 3. Okay, so we should be pretty lined up there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hide our square, and by doing that, we're just gonna go over to the right-hand panel, and we're gonna hit that little eyeball over there. Now we're gonna go ahead and take this, and we are going to weld that together. Okay, now we can go ahead, and now we are gonna start filling in. I should have duplicated another flower. So we're just gonna upload this again and ungroup that, remove that, and here we have, I don't think I resized it. Oh, I guess I did. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna resize this to match our other flowers. And you know, you could leave it different sizes. There's no rhyme or reason, rules to this. You just do what you feel like doing. Okay, so that's pretty close. So let's go ahead and duplicate that a couple times so that I don't screw up and forget. Okay, so now we're gonna fill in our spaces, okay? And if we go a little bit, you can have your square showing or not. I mean, it's up to you. Either eyeball it or don't. So now I'm just gonna start kind of throwing these things in here and kind of choosing where I want them to go or not go, that kind of thing. And remember, you can always have them hang off. If something's not fitting to your liking or, you know, something like that, you can always have it hang off a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. And you may have to, you know, just keep editing and moving things until you're happy with them. Of course, we don't want to move this side or this side because that is going to that's going to make a disaster for us. So I'm going to bring this one back down so I have more room here in my middle. And I think I want to move, yeah. And I think I want to tilt that just a little bit more. Okay. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my square over there again, and I am going to weld that all together. And then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to get rid of this part on the bottom and these parts on the top. And to do that, we're just going to go ahead and create a couple of shapes. We're going to use the square just because it's super easy. And we're just going to cover that top section. Line it up the best you can. Select that and slice it out. And then move that stuff out of the way. Thought I had it all selected, but I guess I didn't. And we're going to do the same thing with the bottom. Now, if you don't weld all your flowers together, you're not going to be able to slice them apart. So they have to be welded in order to slice them. To the best of my knowledge, I am not a Cricut pro by any means. So if there's an easier way to do it, then more power to you. Okay, let's get that gone. All right, so now we have our design. So now we want to start creating the offsets. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our flowers and we're going to do our first offset. I definitely don't want it at the 0.25 because that's just going to be too big in my opinion. So I'll wait till it kind of pulls that up. It might take it a minute here. Because my kids are on my internet and everything else anyways. So it's taking forever. In the meantime, let's change this square to a white square. Oh shoot, come on. And I just got rid of my offset that just loaded. That was pleasant. Okay, let's try that again. Offset. And I know I'm not gonna want it that big, so I'm gonna go to I'm gonna try 0.13 and see how I like that. And so I type in 0.13 and I hit my enter, return, whatever you want to call it. And because my kids are on the internet, my internet's slow, because that's the way I roll. Okay, so that's still too big. I don't want it that big. So I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna do like 0.9. That's usually a really good size for my offsets. I usually like anywhere between a 6 and a 9, depending what I'm doing. So I like that. So we're going to go ahead and apply that offset. Okay. And it's going to cut these pieces in the middle, but it's okay. We can pull those out. That's not a big deal. So now what we're going to do is we are going to offset that gray offset. So we're going to go ahead and go back up here. And we're going to offset it again, and we are going to go a little bit bigger this time, and we're going to try a 0.12. Do I want that a little bigger? I do think I want it a little bigger. Let's try 7.17. Did it load? I took my eyes off the computer. I think it might have, but it's still not quite what I want. Let's try 0.2. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. Let's go ahead and apply that, and it's going to add another layer. Let's go ahead and offset that one again, and I don't know. Kind of a nice, let's add a little bit of width to that. Let's try a 0.25. Let me try a 2 again, just to refresh my memory of what that looked like. See if it opened up any of these areas here. Okay, and it did not. Okay, we're gonna go 2.5, enter, and apply. Okay, so now we're left with these little sections here, which, you know, in the scheme of things, that is not going to, you can fill that in with whatever color you're left over with, or, you know, I just don't see it being worth doing a whole nother offset. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and we're gonna hide our flower shapes. We're gonna hide our first offset and we're gonna hide our second offset. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring my square to the front. Now, when you're doing these next steps, you wanna make sure that you are not moving your square, your original square, or your offset. Because if you do accidentally move something, everything is going to be thrown off. So we want to make sure that we absolutely do our best not to move anything. If you do move it, don't try to fix it. I would just use your back arrow up there to undo whatever you did. Okay, so let's select that and slice, and we're going to do this all the way around our square for each side. Okay, so there's our first side. Let's move our square back to the front. And you're gonna have to keep repeating that step unless you know how to do it differently. I don't, so I just have to keep bringing it back forward. All right, and then let's do this side. And you want to try to get all the way up to the edge of the square. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world, no big deal. So just kind of, you know, do your best. All right, bring back our square once again and add another shape in here for our slicing. I'm sure there is an easier way to do this, but I don't know it. So try to get that bad boy straight. Okay, change our length and go right up to that square. Perfect. And select that, slice. Select all that side. Let's go ahead and bring our square back to the front. Add another shape for our slice on the bottom. Unlock our square, stretch this out, and continue on the bottom and slice that. Okay. All right, so there we have it. So now that we're done with this one, we're going to go ahead and come back over to the right hand side to our control panel, and we're going to hit that eyeball and we're going to make that one disappear. Okay, next we're going to work on our next offset, which was our black, and we're going to do the same thing piece by piece. We are just going to go ahead and, so we could use this square and just slice it out. That's going to make a lot more sense. So, but I'm a little worried about things moving if I try to do that. So we're going to go for it anyways. I'm going to duplicate this square so that I have the same exact size, and I am going to select all, and we're going to slice. Okay, so before I move anything, I am going to come over here and I'm going to put this square in exactly that spot. Okay, over here in our control panel, it is going to show us the outside section here. See that square, how it doesn't have anything in the middle? That's our outside, so that's what we're going to delete. So once you click on that over here, it's going to allow us to delete it, okay? So this slice result is our square that we had, and we don't need that. So we're going to go ahead and delete that. And what is that one? Okay, this is the middle of our white square that was just sliced, and we also don't need that. So let's go ahead and delete that. Now we have our basic square once again, and we have our middle of where we wanted sliced. So we're going to go ahead and hide that one, and we're going to go to our next size, which was our gray. And once again, we are going to duplicate this, even though I won't need it. I just want to make sure I have it because our next one is already sliced according to our slice square. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had everything going. Okay, so let's go ahead and slice this one out. Okay, and we're going to put our square right back over the top of that so we don't get lost here. And we're going to go over here to our control panel and we're going to look for that outer layer, and that's what we wanted to get rid of. So click on that and then come over here and click the X, and gone. Okay, now we're going to take our middle pieces that we have over here that cut out of our white square. Don't need that, so gone. And here we have all those teeny tiny pieces up there that we do not need, so we can click out of that. Okay, so now we have all of our layers finished. Okay, so I'm hiding everything because I want to layer things the way that we have them designed. So we're going to look for our fullest one first, which is our gray one. And put that there. I don't know why that's bigger. We're going to send this to the back so it stays there. Okay, now our next one is going to be the black, and then it's going to be the gray, and then it is going to be our flowers, which are not at the front. So let's move those to the front. Okay, so here we have our design, and it's nice to be able to change the colors, and you of course can do this any color scheme you want, and it just kind of is able to give you a good guide of what you're looking at, color wise, whatever. And then these parts, you know, just fill in with whatever color. It just wasn't worth doing another offset. Okay, now that we are ready for our entire project to cut, we need to have everything laid out as we want it. And then we're going to select the whole thing and we're going to attach that. Okay, so now what that has done is it has given us all of our cut lines, and we will be ready to send it to our mat and get ready to cut it on your double-sided sticky tape or whatever you're doing. So all of these lines are going to cut. So I would do like a dark brown maybe, or a black for this super tiny outline. I would do all the insides of the leaves green. I would do the insides of the petals in a color. I would do the little dots a color. I would probably do the inside of the circle, all of the, the same color as the outline I did here. This offset I would do one color. This offset I would do another color, and so on and so forth. So, and then of course these sections you would do another color. And after you are finished, or once you have everything attached, one way to make sure that this is going to work well for you, make sure everything is lined up correctly, you can duplicate this. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, and move it over to this side, and you can see that everything is going to line up nicely, and it is in fact going to be a seamless pattern. You're not going to have a seam on here that cuts it off like this, and you don't have a nice flow to your design. This gives you the seam, and that's it, guys. That's how I created my first seamless pattern. So I hope you make one. I would love to see what you make. If this helps you, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Good night.